40, 100 acres. 40 hectares, 100 acres.
How much is 1 hectare?
1 hectare, 4 acres.
4? Well, obviously 100 divided by, yeah, got it, got it. That was good math.
Sorry, Nancy.
That was easy math.
I was muted. How did Nancy hear?
You're not muted.
You're not muted.
Oh, you must be coming over his mic.
Is there anybody here on plan?
Haven't seen anybody come on yet. There's Jamel back.
Oh, I need paper.
Well, 40 acres makes 100 hectares. 100 acres. 40 hectares makes 100 acres.
Yes. Yeah.
Jamil, can you hear me?
Yep.
A good question for you. Our last meeting, there was 2 applications in the rural area in Glanbrook that we denied. Both of them had buildings partially erected. What happens to those buildings? Do they have to take them down, or what is the end result to that?
So that would be dealt with then with the bylaw essentially. So they would then have to remove them to be in compliance with the zoning bylaw. So, but that's dealt with separately through the bylaw section, and they kind of look after it.
That'd be after the appeal time, wouldn't it, Jamil?
Pardon me?
That would be after if they appeal it, right?
Yes. So if they appealed it, then I believe it's kind of held in stasis, but I'm not entirely sure how bylaw would work with that, because I know that like if there's a stop work order on it, then they can't do any more work. But I'm not sure about how it goes about removing it. But there are kind of timelines that bylaw has to deal with regards to removing non-compliant structures. Pardon me?
Got a building permit. Neither one's got a building permit.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I believe one was appealed. The other one was not.
Oh.
Which one appealed? Yeah.
3005 Trinity Church. Can't remember the file number off the top of my head.
Okay, all right.
It's a pole barn.
Yeah.
Real good.
So the one in Guyot didn't get appealed yet.
Yeah.
Too late. It's over 20 days.
Yeah.
It should have to come down.
Right, 21 days today.
That's right.
What's going on with the ones that are done a year ago? We're supposed to tear down a barn and they haven't done it yet. Is there a grace period because of the pandemic?
That I'm not sure about. That's all through bylaw, so they don't really tell me what's going on with them. Yeah.
Dale and I are watching one, but
Well, I think originally you had said that they gave a 90-day extension on some conditions or whatever.
Yeah, for severances and stuff like that. I don't know how I would assume some stuff got that for other departments, but I just know about our section, sorry. So yeah, if it was related to a severance condition, then they would have been granted an extension. The province granted them an extension. If it wasn't related to that, then I'm not entirely sure. I know that there are timelines, though. Kind of have to give them time.
So
sorry, just a minute.
Which department would you, or could I get a hold of to find out what the timeline is on an application then?
Yeah, I can send you that information later if you want. I can find out who it would be and send that to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's in the rural area in Glanbrook. It was
Yeah.
a severance.
yeah, send it to me too if you want. Camille.
So sorry, it was a severance that was approved.
Yes.
With the condition to tear a barn down.
Half of a building
Half
had
of
to
the
come
building
down.
down, really.
Okay, so if it was part of a severance condition, then usually the demolition is the very last condition that they would fulfill. They kind of get everything else in place. So if they would have been granted the 90-day extension, so they would probably still have time to do that. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know if they would have applied for their demolition, but they would have that extension granted if it was with regards to a severance application.
Okay.
It's over 90 days now.
Yeah, once the 90 days is up, then what happens if they haven't fulfilled the conditions?
Then the condition is, then the severance is not considered approved.
They'd have to reapply.
It's deemed denied, yeah, and they would have to reapply.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Good to know.
Is the person online for comments for rural division from the city?
Mhm.
Yes, I am. How can I help you?
Yeah, it's Dale Smith. I was wondering if I could have your extension number. I'd like to call you at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. My extension is 5865.
Okay.
Who is it, Delamere?
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is Velimir.
Okay, because I have a question for you as well. So you can
Okay.
expect a couple of calls.
Not a problem.
Is there any time better than another to call or?
No, honestly, any time is fine during the working hours, of course.
Yeah.
Midnight.
As a farmer, we don't think about it until we're in the barn milking at night, you know.
Okay, I had to get my Bluetooth on because I couldn't stand being tethered. Oops, I better shut this off. Everybody's spinning again. How come? You guys are all frozen. Only Mark and I are alive.
Hello. I'm here for the Powerline Road part, so I don't need to be here this soon, but I didn't want to be late, so.
Yeah. Okay. So when it's your turn, we'll call you.
Okay, so leave.
So you need to be here for the time that you were scheduled for.
I think that's 1:30.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back at 1:30 then.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Time's 1:09. Dale was following me around.
I think we have to buy a new vehicle every 2 years just to keep up with all of this stuff. And I get your mileage.
We haven't been paid yet, so don't worry.
No, we haven't been paid.
Ready to go?
Sorry, just having an issue with my email. Okay, I'm all set.
Okay, let's rock.
All right, so we are hearing FLA 2186 for 460 Concession 10 Road East in Flamborough. And we have the owner registered to speak.
The owner's name is?
Linda Anacona?
Ancona.
Perfect.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. Comments seem to be good. Does the committee have any questions or concerns?
Looks
Anybody?
good to me.
I'll move to accept.
Okay. Seconder?
Right here.
And Nancy?
All in favor? Opposed? None? Application approved. Hearing adjourned.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
Now.
You could at least drag it out 5 minutes so we're on time for the next one.
You in Scotia, David?
Nope. Time to come home for a while.
Ah, good.
Looks like Bob's on the Ottawa River. Bob,
Yes.
are you on the Ottawa River right now?
Yes, I am.
I could tell by that wooded background.
Yeah.
Hi there. I just wanted to double check. David, were you on for the first one or not? I didn't see you, but Martha said she wasn't sure. Okay.
I had to charge my Samsung up.
Okay. Yep. No problem. I just wanted to double check for our records. Thanks.
No problem.
Okay.
What time's the next one?
1 minute.
Okay.
Ready.
All right. We are hearing FLA 2188 for 14 Brayhead Avenue in Flamborough. And we have the owners on the line, Joseph and Caitlin DeSecchia? Sorry.
Checka.
DeCecca.
Typical money.
I'll get it right one of these days, right?
Fine,
Checkers,
thank
are
you.
you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, Giuseppe, the application, most of the staff's all fine with it. However, development engineering saying they wanted to see some grading plan and recommended it be tabled. Have you given any thought to that?
Sorry, this is not an application for the actual pool. This is for a variance. So I'm not sure why we're going to have to still submit a permit.
Okay, I think it's the development engineering put in a comment saying that they want to make sure that there's no problem with grading.
Yeah, no, this is not a permit for a pool. This is a permit for setbacks where we could put the pool. So a permit, or unless, do I not need to have a permit once this is approved?
Yeah, you would need a permit, but
Yeah, so that's where the grading will come in.
yeah.
Yeah, we do have Sandra from Oh, sorry.
Be approved subject to approval from development engineering for the grading plan at the time of permit.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, was there someone from staff that needed to comment?
Well, I was, we do have engineering staff on the line if you wanted to speak to them.
Well, I mean, that's just the normal thing they would ask for, but they have to obviously comply. So I don't see why, in view of there's no problems from neighbors or for planning, etc., that it could be approved for the variance, subject to getting a permit in the normal costs, of course, and approved grading plan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have Dale and Margaret who wish to speak.
So I'm just wondering if development engineering is here, if we could have some comments from them. If they're okay with what you're suggesting, Mark.
Hi, this is Sandra from Development Engineering. So it was another coordinator that made these comments, but I did look over the sketch and the proposal. And whenever we do get something like this, we ask for at least a sketch of the grades because our main priority is the neighboring lands, just to make sure that they're not negatively impacted. So you don't necessarily have to have a full grading plan. We would just want to see the grades along, I believe so you're going to have a structure right at the rear of the lot. So because the setbacks are also, they're insufficient based on our standards, we want to make sure that you're not impacting the neighboring lands. So as long as you can show that to the coordinator, I can give you the actual contact, the actual coordinator that comment on this, because he's going to have to review it. That's basically what he needs. He just needs proof that it's not going to impact the neighboring lands.
Okay, so how does this impact this variance? Is this going to be a delay? Like,
Sorry. So the sooner you can get a sketch, even a digital copy, because of the circumstances we're in right now, if you can just get a digital copy, I can give you my email as well. You can email me and then I can sort of forward it to the coordinator. The sooner we can get that sketch, the sooner we would sort of clear that.
Okay. I'm still confused because this is not an application for a pool or a shed. This is an application where I can put the pool or the shed. That's the difference, right?
Well,
I can put a pool in the city of Hamilton. I'm just asking to have it moved a little bit. Like, I don't see, I have to submit a permit, and all that. The permit's going to be submitted is going to have that information that's going to be done by the contractor. So if I would have known this, if someone would have let me know that grading would have been required.
And then we can just move on. So trying to massage this and move it doesn't make sense to me. If he doesn't get approval, then it all fails anyways. But in terms of everything else under the Planning Act and under jurisdiction for minor variances, everything's fine, subject to that being approved. When they bring in a permit and it doesn't get approved, the variance lapses anyways.
And Margaret, did you have anything further?
Yes. Well, actually, my concern was the shed rather than the pool. And just because if it's that close to the rear lot line, that it could impact the grading on the neighbor's property. So I actually would prefer that it be tabled so that that can be dealt with ahead of time, because if we approve the reduction in the rear lot offset, then setback, then I think that that could be a problem. So
Sorry.
I'm not sure if we approve it subject to grading being approved by development engineering. If it's determined that they need, say, 0.6 meters as opposed to 0.4 meters, which is being asked for, will that change the actual grade, the variance? So will then we be approving a variance for a 0.6 meter setback?
So just to be clear, there's going to be a 1 foot perimeter around the property that's going to be for drainage. That's going to have gravel and going to be for drainage no matter anywhere on the property line. That's by the contractor standards. So
1 foot?
1 foot. I know. I wasn't pleased about that, but he's going to have 1 foot around the perimeter that's going to be all stone aggregate for the purpose of impacting any neighbors for, runoff or anything like that. He says he never goes right to a property line, and he'll have a 1 foot minimum along the entire property line. I could show you a picture of what he has. Sorry, I didn't include, you know what, maybe I should have got him to make the drawing. I could probably send this, but around the entire perimeter, you can see this stone that he's going to be putting along, which will be for drainage, so that there's nothing going right up to the property line. So that would be point whatever of a meter. So it's 1 foot.
That doesn't seem like a very large, if there's a drainage swale at the rear of the property, that doesn't seem adequate.
It's not going to be, it's still going to have the direction. anyways, you know, I don't see how that's going to impact anything and why we're making this any more complicated than what it needs to be.
That's what I worry about. We either table it or approve it subject to. Now we're getting into for talking about stones and stuff. So someone make a motion to approve it subject to, or make a motion to table it pending receipt of massaging it like this.
I'll make a motion to approve it subject to.
Okay, what is it going to be subject to? What's the wording of the subject
Subject
to?
to the
To approval,
of the development engineering for the grading, approval of the grading plan by development
And if
engineering.
it's not approved, the variance disappears anyways.
Okay.
The variance is subject to that approval. And he'll submit it. If engineering's fine, they move on. If engineering's not fine, then the variance lapses.
That's okay with the overall thing, so.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Is there a seconder?
I will.
Okay, thanks, Bob. All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed?
Sorry, seeing none.
No.
Okay. Application approved, subject to condition, hearing adjourned.
Okay, so just for clarification, what am I going to have to do?
So you'll have to submit to development engineering a grading plan to their satisfaction.
Is someone going to send me the information on exactly what I have to do by email or like?
The whole guy will know what to do.
Pardon? Sorry, Dale?
The whole guy will know.
Mark?
Yes.
So, yeah, so in the decision, it'll have the condition to the satisfaction of, and then you'll be able to get their contact information.
Okay, and how does the decision get relayed to me?
We'll
By mail
mail
or
it to
email?
you. Yep. So we'll mail it to you like we did the notice.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Good luck.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thomas has his hand up.
I was going to suggest that the person from engineering give their phone number to this gentleman so that if there's a hiccup along the way, he's got someone to call and try to get the thing smooth.
I agree. I appreciate it. Let me get a pen.
Okay, so we're behind schedule already. And that's generally how we work it in our hearings.
Start digging the pool while we're at it here too. Jeez.
Okay. Hi. So from development engineering, I'm just going to give you my contact information. Okay. So because I'm working from home and I'm much easier to contact through email, I'm going to give you my email.
Okay.
So it's Sandra, Sandra dot AL-DABBAGH at hamilton.ca.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a number too? Just because if I get something wrong.
I don't from here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I hope, like you said, this is for a pool and shed. I hope we don't need to make this. I appreciate everyone's time. I'm not asking for anything more than what the city of Hamilton or Dundas has. So just FYI. Thank you. Appreciate everyone's time.
Okay.
Bye.
Mark, I think there might be something covering your microphone because I'm having a problem hearing you.
Well, my hand's covering my face. But let's see what I'm doing.
Or it might just be angled wrong because it's I'm not, sometimes I'm hearing you, but they're like talking over you, so I can't really hear you. And then your video turned off now too. Sorry. Okay.
You there?
Yep.
Good?
I think so, yep.
Okay.
All right, so we are hearing ANA 2189 for 3549 Powerline Road West in Lancaster. And we have the owner and agent registered as, to speak.
Okay, who's here on this?
I'm the agent, Chris Harrison. So I'm here, the architect, or an architect.
And hi, my name is Brandon Smith, and I'm the owner.
Okay, great. For the architect, I'm sure you saw the comments from the municipal departments, and you see that they're not supporting and they recommend deny. Is there something you want to say to potentially persuade us, or did you want to table it and see if we can work something out and bring it back? What's your inclination?
Well, I think the owner and myself agree that there must have been a misunderstanding. The way the comments are worded, the planning department seems to think that the intention is to expand an existing building. That's not the case at all. The owner is simply trying to preserve an existing building. Everybody understands that the existing building, together with the other existing accessory buildings, exceed the 200 square meter zoning allowance in the A2 zone. But they're all there. They've been there since, I'd say the most recent one is probably the 1970s, the garage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon. The building in question, the barn, is certainly 1920s or older. The house itself, 1870, 1880.
So technically this could be legal non-conforming. So why are you doing this? Why did it just crop up out of the blue that you want a variance after 1970 or 1920?
We were told we needed a variance. The first time around, as you may recall, we were told we needed a variance for the barns in the front yard, partially in the front yard. And in restoring the barn, we realized that the existing barn exceeded the height of 6 meters already, and we needed a little bit more height. So that variance was granted back in 2019. But we were not told that we needed a variance for the coverage of the aggregate accessory buildings. Now we've been told that when we went for the building permit to restore the barn. That's why we're here.
So you got some variances to do something. When you went to the permit, they discovered there were some other ones which may or may not be legally established non-conforming or difficult to apply for. So for the ease of getting this done, you just want to regularize what actually exists right now, and you're not changing anything. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
So I just have Mel and Dale with questions.
Okay, go ahead.
I was out to visit the property the other day, and they are just wrapping the building to reserve it. So they're not expanding the building at all. They're just taking to reserve the outside of the building. So keep the same footage and everything. So they're not really expanding it. So it's just a matter of preserving it.
Okay, so just regularizing. Who else wanted to speak?
I was Dale.
Dale, go ahead.
Yeah, so same thing. I was out there yesterday and looked at it, and there seemed to be a lot of confusion with what the city wanted to do and what the applicant wanted to do. I don't have a problem with what the applicant wants to do. The only question I do have is when I was reading through the application form, very little of it was filled out. And I thought, you know, when you send in an application that you're supposed to fill it out to the best of your ability, but there was hardly any information on the application form. But I have no problem with with what they want to do, but I'm just curious why they don't have to fill out the application form fully.
Well, I'm a little puzzled by that. The variance application was fully filled out and reviewed by the planning department before we even sent it in. So they're looking at a different application than us.
I think I can see what the problem was. I think when it was created for the upload for the public, there was the way it was created, it removed all of the text that was in there by mistake. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
You're too good, Dale. Okay, motion, anybody? Move, Dale, seconded. Mel? All in favor? Opposed, anybody? Carried. Cleanup complete.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. All right, so our next file is ANA 2191 for 205 Sunny Ridge Road in Ancaster. And we have the agent and owner registered to speak.
Okay, so who's here on the application that's speaking?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find them. So we don't currently see them on here.
So usually the height's not recommended. In this case, the height is, just the area is not. Interesting.
Mark, you're all muffled again.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Still am?
Your video's not on either.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Am I there?
Yep.
Yay. Okay, as I was saying, usually the height's never recommended and the area is fine. This way it's the other way around. Height is okay, the area is not fine. But can we hear it anyway? So the applicant's here.
No, I still don't see them.
Okay, why don't we set it down in case they materialize, and if not, we can just table it. Because it's not obviously straightforward.
Okay.
Everyone okay with that?
Yep. Move on to the next guy.
You were not behind anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, and so we'll move on to the next item. So we are hearing GLB 2061 and GLA 2199 for 5020 Tinside Road in Glenbrook. And we have the agent and owner registered to speak.
Okay, who wishes to speak on these?
I can. My name is Andreas Thompson Young. I'm the owner of the property, and I'm sitting in my office here with my planner, Mike Sullivan.
Okay, good. Now, I don't know if you saw the comments that were posted, but according to the various municipal departments, they're not recommending approval of this application. Is there anything you wish to say to perhaps have us change our mind, or did you perhaps want to digest what was put, table it, and then come back maybe with a different presentation or something changed?
I would personally like to make a few comments to this. So first of all, the driveway into the property off of Tyneside Road, that is an existing deeded right-of-way that is existing on the property for, I would say, the better part of 70 years. That driveway is there, has always been used. The alternative to get to our own road frontage is on Miles Road. We have to build a new driveway in an existing farm that could be easily turned into a driveway, but it would be with 3 times the length of the right take the agriculture.
Sorry, we're not able to hear you. You're breaking up quite significantly.
Okay, and I'll switch over to the computer with Mike, and maybe we can hear me better there.
Can you hear me now? Does this work?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I was just saying the deeded right-of-way that we like to have as part of the entrance into this property is existing there for at least 70 years. It's been always the driveway into the property. The road frontage that I have myself is over on Miles Road, which we could make a driveway that way and come in. That would be several times longer than the driveway that is existing for 70 years, been used. And also we would take up agricultural land. The other thing that we could do in the severance, severance shows the barns being in there. I'd be more than happy to take them down because they will not provide any value to me as a farm operation anymore. But if we take the barns down and square this lot off, it would be a rectangular shape, still coming in off a Tyneside Road through the right of way. But a deeded right of way is technically something that nobody can ever take away from you unless you give it up yourself, right? So I don't really think this is a very huge problem as far as somebody's taking the access to this property away at some point. Wait a second.
So we have staff who wish to comment and Dale who wishes to comment.
Okay, let's go with staff first.
So through the chair, in an effort to prevent a precedent of landlocked parcels, we cannot support the subject proposal because it's not compliant with the Rural Hamilton Official Plan policies, which state that all proposed severances that create a new lot shall only be permitted when both severed and retained lots have a frontage on a public road. Staff note also that legal access does not constitute frontage.
Okay, thank you. Dale?
So I'm going to relate back to a member that used to be on this committee, and some of us remember him as Victor. And he said that we never set precedents with any decision that we make here. So with this being a landlocked parcel, I do agree somewhat, but we have a lawyer on our committee here and we have a real estate agent. And I just want to make sure that this legal agreement or deed on title, if it is in stone type of thing that can never be reputed or whatever. That's my first question. Next thing is, if they had access off of Miles Road, you're taking productive land out of production and making a driveway. If you make this entranceway off of Miles Road, you're going to sever a piece of land. I think it's like a bush lot on the north side of the driveway. So you're creating another lot on that side, which I don't think is what we want to do there either. The applicant wants to make the lot smaller than what the city staff were recommending. I don't know why the city staff recommended such a large lot, because the applicant didn't want it that large. We may have to table it just to get some final numbers on the exact size that he wishes. Also, comment from planning about the 400, it's over 400 feet deep, and using that as an excuse or another excuse not to allow it. In the past, I can remember we had an application in Glanbrook actually that it was longer, deeper than 400 feet, and I brought that up as a comment. And planning at that time said that, well, that's just a recommendation. It's not carved in stone. And yet here we have different comments saying that the 400 feet is carved in stone. So I'm confused on that 400 foot thing. We just got comments recently from Niagara Conservation. I wish Nicholas, who wrote the comments, I wish he would go on site and actually have a look instead of just reading what was put in front of him. Laverne and I both visited the site yesterday. There's lots of room above this proposed floodplain to maintain the house that's there. And if down the road, if someone wants to tear down that house and build a house, there's lots of room above this floodplain to do so, in my opinion. As far as the access, Niagara Conservation Authority talked about the 100-year storm, didn't know whether the access would still be accessible. As Andreas said, this driveway's been there for some 70 years, and I know the farmers that used to own this property, and they had a commercial, or what do you want to call it, a feedlot for beef cattle, and they use that driveway on a regular basis, and it has never overflowed or flooded under or over with water as long as I can remember. But maybe my recommendation here, both I'd like to hear from the lawyer and the real estate agent as far as the right-of-way, and possibly this should be tabled just to get some final numbers on the size of the lot, since the applicant wants to make it a little bit smaller. That's my comments.
I'll be happy to chime in, Dale. That was very, very well said and very astute and very correct. My recollection is we've created landlocked lots at Lake Tabasco, Stelco, all of the Bayfront ones that were severed off. They had registered rights of way or deeded rights of way. I've seen it also on all these new malls we're putting up where people have rights of way to access landlocked or appear to be landlocked parcels. So if it is a proper registered right of way or a deeded right of way, then in my opinion, it's fine. And I
can say that we have that.
So I think in view of what Dale said in terms of numbers and other elements, it'd be nice if someone could provide the committee with the proof of the registered right of way or the easement for the right of way or whatever documentation they have. And then we could table it, bring it back with all of those things done, and then we can do it properly.
Okay, just a further comment on that, since I was asked. Mark will correct it for sure, but a deeded right of way would make it okay, but a regular road access would not. Is that right, Mark?
No, it could. A deeded right of way is right in the deed, but I see a lot of them where they're created mutual rights of way that are on the deed.
I'll say it.
The deed could be the actual road, or it could be a deed together with and subject to a right of way written on. We'd have to see what the document is. Guys, I'd really recommend we table this. There is some inertia to make this go. If you could provide us with the right sort out those distances.
Can I make one more comment, please?
Bring it back, we can go from there.
Could I make one more comment?
Sure.
So we have a deeded right of way. We've also provided the city with a legal letter from my lawyer stating that this right of way is a deeded right of way and cannot be taken by anybody. The only way this right of way goes away is by the owner of the property giving it up.
I understand that, but the committee right now who's trying to make a decision in 10 minutes doesn't have that. So you don't really want to push us to say you sent it and whatever. But
no, I don't want to push. That was just a comment. So
no. I'm sure it's fine because I've seen this. I've been a real estate lawyer 33 years. I sort of know the drill. I probably know the lawyer that wrote it for you. But if you can have that sent to the Jamila at the committee office, along with anything else that Dale referred to in terms of the distances, then that can be brought to us at the next meeting, whatever meeting you want us to, and then we can revisit it, and hopefully there'll be less pushback and the committee may be inclined to approve what you want.
Thank you.
So we did have several committee members, so I'm not, okay, so we had, let's see, we had Margaret, we had Mel, and we had Laverne. So I don't know, are we
guys,
on tabling or?
Do we really need to listen to everything right now, or can we do it when we get the paperwork?
I move the table.
Actually, I just want to mention that it, because it's creating a landlocked parcel, it does not conform to the official plan. And I think that's the crux of the matter, not the disposition of the right of way so much as
if it's a proper right of way or a proper deeded access, then it's not
no longer landlocked, right?
It is landlocked.
Well, I'd like to see
It does not
what
have
they
frontage,
say.
so
If what they send us doesn't establish categorical proof that it isn't landlocked, then it's not going to be approved. So we should at least look at what they have to offer. But you're right, if it is landlocked, then it's no. But I've seen plenty of them. All those things in the back by the water where you come off Burlington Street, we had applications all the time with deeded rights of way or old roads or old easements by prescription. They're all you have to look at. But
Not
let's
convincing
table
me.
it. Let's see what they present us, and if it's landlocked, I agree with you completely. Barbara. That's
Okay.
my agreement is to be all and end all. Okay, so I said Mel made a motion for tabling. Is there a seconder?
So we have Nancy, and Thomas is still indicating he wants to speak.
Yes, my concern, unfortunately, I'm having trouble downloading this application for the diagram. Can the application not be reconfigured so as to have at least some frontage on one of the roads?
Well, that's something they'd have to contemplate if indeed they are landlocked. Then they'd have to do something, but if they're not, they can proceed as they're doing.
Well, I just raised that so that if they're coming back, they've had an opportunity to at least consider it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't just raise it again and send them back and say, have another look.
Good point. So they should probably look at all of these things before it comes back and have it presented to us and to the city again for re-comments, and then we'll make a decision at that time.
Okay, so we had a motion moved by Mel, seconded by Nancy. Sorry, Vern, are you wanting to speak again?
Just one thing. I have visited this site 3 times. And after visiting the site and standing where the home is and the outbuilding where there used to be a tea room, which shut down last December, if anybody stood there and took a look at this thing, they couldn't understand why this thing is not being approved. And I would like to see our committee go out there and stand where I stood and take a look at it. We're 47 feet above the creek. And this thing is being stopped by the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority for one. They have a control on that lake, Nyapenko, at the east end of the lake, and they can control the depth of the water, the height of the water. They can control the floodplain. And there's also an overflow swale at that east end of the dam to take water away. So this property would never be flooded. In fact, the testament to that is there's a piece of property to the north of this that is in beans. You can't grow beans on flooded property. So I would like to see everybody do a site visit.
Okay. Application tabled. Get your info. If the committee wants to go and look, that's fantastic. Get us the stuff on the road and the other elements that and we'll see you hopefully in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'm all set for the next one.
Sunnyside Ridge. Jamila, did you hear anything back on the one that they weren't there on? No? Okay.
No, so it still doesn't look like they're here.
So Green Mountain now?
Yes. Hold on just a minute. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So we'll hear SCA 2183 for 601 Green Mountain Road East in Stony Creek. And we have the agent.
Yep.
Registered to speak.
Who is the agent here?
Alex Aquin.
Okay. I'm assuming you read the comments that were presented to you.
I did.
And I'm assuming you don't like what you read.
No.
Did you want to potentially table this like the last one and try to work something out, or do you want to try to persuade the committee to approve it despite the negative comments from the municipal authority?
Yeah, I would like to table this for sure, but I didn't really state in the application that there are 3 outbuildings on the property that are totaling up to 600 square feet. It will be removed if the application is approved.
Okay. But I think you should probably present this to the people that wrote the comments that said they weren't in favor of it and see if you can persuade them to soften their comments based on what you have to say and then bring it back to another hearing for us to hear. Dale, go ahead.
So I'm not sure I don't see 600 square feet anywhere on this variance application. What I see is 406 meters squared. I think that's the building that he wants to build.
That's correct.
That's double over what's allowed for that area. That's all I see.
Right. So there are neighboring properties with buildings that are equivalent sizes. Like 605 Green Mountain Road has a square meter of 404 square meters of outbuildings. We did have a gentleman here yesterday, and he recommended that the 3 outbuildings on our property should be removed. Those outbuildings are equaling 600 square feet. So for me to get approval, those would have to be removed, which is fine.
I think maybe before you remove those buildings, you asked to have it tabled, and that's fine. I'd make a motion to table it and see what you can work out. But before you take those buildings, I would just make sure.
Alex, I'd meet with the people that wrote the comments and say you're prepared to do this and maybe scale down or whatever you want to do to make this softer, and then bring it back and we might not have to get comments prior to us making a decision. So I'm going to accept the motion for tabling. Is there a seconder?
Hold on, I think staff had a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Did I see Velimir?
Yeah, so we had staff and Thomas wishing to speak. If
Through the chair, this is just a message to Alex. You can give me a call at extension 5865 and go over some details regarding when the application is rescheduled for the other hearing.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Thomas, did you want to speak?
Yes, the staff note on their report that the part of the property is under conservation management and suggest that they contact the conservation authority as well. Again, to prevent this from sort of cropping up next time if they come back, and it might be worthwhile for them to have a chat with conservation in the meantime.
Good suggestion.
okay, so I so I think we had a motion from Dale and a seconded by Mel for tabling.
All in favor? Carrie, we'll see you when this comes back, Alex.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Bye. Oh, Maple City, Nevada.
Oh, sorry, David.
Yeah, why don't we make a motion to table Sunny Ridge since we're moving off of urban to go to rural? I don't think they're coming, so I think because it's in part of Denai and, just table it for the applicant.
I think maybe we should wait till the end just in case they do come on.
Yeah, but if they do pop in, we can get rid of it. If they don't, we just automatically table it at the end. That's what that is called. We're already moving too many.
Okay.
Vermont Rose.
Yeah, so we have the owner and agent registered to speak, as well as 2 interested parties.
Okay, so who's speaking on behalf of the application?
It's Brent Vanderwood, the agent.
And Sean Dowell, the owner.
Okay, perfect. Now you see that there's pretty favorable comments, but there are 2 interested parties, and I would like to get their name and address if they wish to speak.
Okay, so we will hear from Judy Heacock first. And let me just grab her. Okay, let's see. So I don't see her, but I do see Miss Desjardins.
Okay. Danielle?
So
Yes.
Danielle,
you there?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
what's your address?
My address is 18 Cortina Crescent.
18 Cortina Crescent. Is that anywhere near this place?
It is in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
We just have a little map and I don't see it on here. Okay, what is your concern?
So my concern is, and I'll address probably if I know Judy, who was going to come on, had some too. So if she doesn't, I know what her concerns are too. So I guess my first question I would direct at the applicants is there any chance that the house is to be owner occupied?
That is not the intention, no.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I'm a Rosedale resident. I work as an architectural designer, and I member of the Rosedale Neighborhood Association. Although this is just me, I know that other people in the neighborhood have some concerns about this too. So my concern is number one right off the bat, not owner occupied. The property at the moment, and this, I believe the picture may have been submitted, although not by me. The property at the moment doesn't show a great deal of maintenance. There is a huge pile of garbage on there, construction garbage that hasn't been dealt with in, I believe, at least a month. So that already sort of rings a little bit or of alarm bell there. It raises a red flag of an absentee landlord. And so this already, kind of rubs people the wrong way. But specifically, I think one of the things I take exception to in the variance is the exterior appearance and character of the dwelling to be preserved. Again, I look at the design and I see not a lot of effort to do that. I see new basement stairs right at the front of the house. I see a new egress window with a window well also right at the front. And I see a large windowless dormer at the west side. As an architectural designer, I mean, I look at the plans and off the top of my head, I can see several alternatives that are more respectful of the house and the neighborhood. I realize the house is not an architectural gem by any means, but there is a certain level of uniformity here. This is a neighborhood of smaller single family houses. They don't seem to me like the kind of houses that would be turned into 2-family dwellings. They are small. I'm not sure why this one needs to be converted. And I also think, too, that Hamilton already has a big problem with absentee landlords and multiple dwellings where they aren't appropriate for the area. And my thought here and others in the neighborhood is, can we try to keep this out of Rosedale, too? There's other people also with the parking issues as well, too. So, I mean, I know that something was submitted prior about not approving of the parking. Now, I didn't dwell on that too much because, I assumed that other people were going to speak about that. But I know that there's also some parking issues that apparently, I think the place next door too might already have issues with parking. And then this, I think, is adding to it. But again, I was expecting somebody else to speak to that. So I don't have a great deal of info on it.
Okay. So you bring up all the legitimate and normal points that we hear when someone tries to put a 2-family into a single-family area. Unfortunately, the bylaw permits it and creates a lot of unhappiness, as I'm fully aware of.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the applicant if they have anything they wish to say in response to Ms. Desjardins' comments.
Yeah, I can speak. I really appreciate it, Ms. Desjardins. I also live in Rosedale as well. I bike over there to the property quite often and bike past it. So, yeah, times have been a bit challenging lately trying to keep things clean, but we definitely respect you and Rosedale. Obviously, it's my home as well. And we are trying to improve it. That's why we're here and add more affordable housing. We feel that this application meets the 4 pillars of a minor variance, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay, just to speak on that, I mean, I know that higher levels of government have begun to encourage the creation of rental units in houses, which to me, honestly, seems like a problem being solved by another problem. But I mean, that's a topic for another day. But it does give investors and landlords an opportunity to say, hey, here's how I'm helping the community and providing much needed housing, when that doesn't really seem to have a whole lot to do with it. So I realized that by coming here, I know that pretty much across the board, these usually get approved. But I know that it's not just me that objects to this. Unfortunately, I'm currently the only one here. But it is frustrating to see these kind of things get approved over and over again. Especially when, I guess, one of the aspects of Section 19, the residential conversion bylaw, is somewhat subjective about preserving the character of the dwelling and the exterior appearance. I know that one can be interpreted probably a couple of ways. I think that this, as I've said, and I don't want to repeat myself too much here, but I think that this could have been in a whole lot better, especially I'm thinking for somebody that lives in Rosedale. This could have been done differently. I don't understand why it was designed in such a way. I can even look at ways that it would have been cheaper to do this in a different way. And I don't understand I don't understand the logic of converting it when I just don't get it. It's two tiny apartments when I don't know why it couldn't have just stayed as one single family house.
Fair enough. Anyone on the committee have any comments based on the application, municipal comments, and interested parties and applicants' comments?
So we have Nancy.
Nancy, go ahead.
Yes, just concerning variance number 2, I understand staff has supported it. We've had, and I do allude to Danielle Desjardins' comments about maintaining the exterior appearance and no alterations of any part are supposed to be allowed. And I'm just curious why staff is okay with that. We've had where they couldn't even change the size of a window or alter a door. And in this case, they're allowing much more than that. So if staff's available to address that, I would appreciate that.
Through the chair to the committee member, in my experience, we've been pretty good about approving variances for this variance. If it was a single family dwelling, there would be no variance required. We felt that the alterations were minimal and did not detract from the character of the area, and that's why staff was supportive of the variance.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Nancy, anything more, or is anyone else wish to speak?
Oh, that was it for me.
I'll just say one more thing to comment on the city representative, as I don't think that the question was entirely answered there, because apparently there's precedent where frequently things are denied with less changes. So I mean, the answer was it was a pretty canned answer of. It basically was rereading what was written in the variance with no actual explanation to it. So I don't think that that's going to provoke any more explanation, but I just wanted to say that probably wasn't much of an answer that wasn't already written.
Yeah.
Satisfactory to me, thank you.
The issues are heritage houses when you have this more type of issue. But anyways, there's bigger problems than that. Anyone else in the committee?
I'll move it.
Motion from anyone on the committee?
Yep.
Sorry, I had Nancy and David seconding.
Is that an application or a motion?
Yes.
For approval?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Thanks.
All right.
Nancy, David, second. All in favor? Opposed?
Seeing none.
Okay. Application approved. Hearing adjourned. The applicant and the interested party, Ms. Desjardins, will get the copy, plus the person that wrote the letter of the decision setting out what goes on. Thank you very much. Hearing is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
All right, so we are hearing HMA 19190 for 45 Martinmas Avenue in Hamilton. And we have the agent, Nick Philippus, as well as the owner and 2 interested parties registered to speak.
Okay, so we have the comments, and Nick, the applicant, you probably read that there's some variances that are being approved. Did you want to proceed today? If so, I'm going to ask the interested parties to speak, and then you can respond. Nick, are you prepared to move today?
Was that to me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Do you want to proceed with this one? Yes?
I could proceed with it. Did you say that you wanted the interested parties to speak first, or?
Yes. But sometimes when there's negative comments, the applicant wants to table it, in which case we don't want to listen to everything tabled. But if you're planning to...
No, I'm ready to proceed with it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. For the interested parties that are here, you can speak one at a time, and we need your name and address for the record, and you're free to say what you wish. Who would like to speak first?
Okay, so we will have Mike McCready speak first, and I believe this is him, and then we will have Chris Earl speak afterwards.
Okay, Mike, what's your address?
Good afternoon.
Hi, what's your address, sir?
41 Martimas.
That's right next door.
Correct.
Yeah. What's your concern, my friend?
So, my concern, maybe we can get something clarified. The lot area. In 2019, it was 237 square meters. According to the application, 2019, and now the application is for 262 square meters. Please clarify.
Actually, Mr. McCready, what do you really want to hear? You can say that that's a concern, but we want to know what your concerns are. The committee doesn't say we're going to do that.
Okay, well, we'll move on to, let's move on to variance. Variance number 2.
Okay.
I don't believe I'll read it out. We've all got the information in front of us there. But this is basically a below-grade garage, and never designed for occupancy. And the suspect clearance heights of 1.95 meters that have to be met under the building code. I think you'd have a tough time with a garage having that kind of roof clearance. And I would also like to mention that there would be some flooding concerns that tenants would have to be worried about, because the grade of the driveway leads right into the garage, which is all below grade. So the big issue there is, I don't think there's anything that's going to be met code-wise. It is a garage. It was designed for a car, and a flooding issue. So the next one I'd like to address is variance number 3. Now he's asking for a 72% increase in area for the parking when the bylaw permits only 50. Again, I don't believe this would be a minor nature variance and not suitable for the land use. On to my next concern, which is number 4. There is a variance request for a 36% reduction in landscape area than what is required. Once again, I don't believe this to be minor in nature and the intent and purpose of the official plan. You're asking for more hardscape, less permeable soil. We've already got some flooding issues at 41 Martimas, and you're asking to hardscape more property, which possibly could impact us even further. Because where is this water going with these extreme weather events that we seem to be having? The next variance is number 5. So maneuvering to and from the proposed parking space on the easterly side of the driveway may be obstructed as the driveway access ramp does not appear wide enough to allow for unobstructed maneuvering for more than one vehicle. And then it goes on to say in notes, a further variance will be provided for a driveway width of 2.7 meters. So my question is, to go to 2.7 meters for a driveway for two cars, it's my understanding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that a cut would have to be made in the existing sidewalk. If so, this access driveway ramp would eliminate existing street parking spot. This unduly penalizes the ability of existing residents of all the single-family homes, their ability to park on the street. And parking on Martimas is presently at a premium, with local residents applying for street parking permits through the city of Hamilton to be able to park on their streets where they live. So that's some of my concerns with these variances. So in closing,
Looks like you covered them all, my friend.
well,
Okay, thank
yeah,
you,
well, they're asking for quite a few. And
Yeah,
in
I
closing,
see.
I believe, in closing, I believe that these proposed variances are not minor in nature, do not meet the intent and purpose of the urban Hamilton official plan, and are not desirable for the appropriate use of land or structures. And I hope the committee members deny all proposed variances as they did in 2019. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's the other gentleman that wanted to speak?
Sorry, so we have Chris Earl.
Go ahead, Chris. Chris? Mr. Earl?
So he's there and he responded to me, but I'm not sure why he's not speaking now.
Okay, I'm going to have Nick DeFilippis respond to Mr. McCready's comments, and then if Chris shows up, he can chime in a bit later. Nick, what do you have to say? The city's against you, the neighbors against you. How can you persuade us?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Okay, so I guess a couple of things that the neighbor, I guess everybody could hear me okay?
Yep.
Hello? Okay, I'm on the road in Timmins, so it's a little difficult. I guess the first thing, one of the neighbors' first concerns is about the height of the garage. I mean, that is a building code issue, not a planning issue, and we are obviously aware of what it is or isn't, and it will be addressed through the building permit when the permit for the two-family dwelling is applied for, and we will be dealing with that space as necessary. But if I remember correctly, it does meet the minimum height requirements as required by the building code. These houses are existing houses. They have what I call a submarine driveway, basically a reverse grade driveway. They're very awkward driveway, awkward garages, and converting that space is really not a major loss to this property because most people don't even use those garages because of the inconvenience of getting into them and out of them. And I look at the variances as requested. I mean, the municipality or staff has little concern with the three variances that deal with some of the issues that are required for conversion. The major concern on three of the variances is all related to the parking and the parking size and location. Unfortunately, it's an existing situation. We're not changing anything. We're not removing landscaping to put the parking in. All we're doing is acknowledging the spaces as they are. They've always parked two cars on this driveway, and we still feel that they can. What's up?
Whoa.
What happened there?
Sorry, are you and Reno at the same spot?
I haven't moved.
No, is he with you though?
Who?
Reno?
Not with me.
Okay. I'm not sure. There was something wrong with his mic.
It was the police pulling him over.
I'm stopped. You see a
Sorry,
mouse in
Nick,
the background, let me know, okay?
Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
All right, so again, there's no video anymore, but anyways, like I said, we're not trying to ask for something and change what is already on the ground on this house, and the house is just adjacent to us. They're both the same type of houses. The driveway width is as is, the landscaping is as is, sidewalk access is as is. We're not removing it or enlarging it. We're just trying to keep what's there and continue to use it. The existing demands or requirements on parking is no different now as it is then. We have less than 8 rooms, so it would have been a two-car parking, and that's what's there. And we're asking to do the same thing as now as we do a 2-family conversion. There's no, we're not trying to take any street parking away, and the site, like I said, the demand on parking is exactly as is, and the requirement for parking is too. What we don't have is, because when it's a 2-family conversion, they have to deal with the access and maneuvering space, which obviously have to back onto the street, which both cars do. We're not asking for tandem, so there's no interrupted parking. Each tenant can have their parking space and not have to worry about jockeying cars to get back out on the street. Like I said, there's no change in grading. There's no change in grading to the neighbors. Everything stays the status quo as what you see on there right now. The issues that were originally dealt with in the other 3 variances dealing with landscaping, lot area, have all been, and physical difference in the house have all been supported by staff, and I don't see any issue that way. Like I said, the only issue they brought up is the parking, and then I guess they're dwelling on parking, saying it's non-conforming, but we're not saying it is, but it's also it's nothing that we've changed or increasing a change or creating a situation that's worse than what it is today. One of the things I read in Mr. McCready's letter saying that this thing was denied by committee a few years ago, was never denied. It was just deferred, and the committee never addressed, had the opportunity to address this in any way. We resubmitted this drawing clarifying some of the issues that were brought up at the first meeting by staff, and I think we have done that. And basically, at direction of one of the planning staff, we made sure that all the information was accurate to what was on site, and then what would be acceptable. The variance in parking width, which would have been the one thing that may have made an issue, our parking space is 10 inches smaller than is what permitted by the bylaw. Right now, there's two large vehicles on the property, and they fit fine, and we'll continue to do that. It's not a public parking lot where we worry about in and out of different vehicles. Like, the owners are fully aware, or the renters are fully aware of what's there, and I don't think there's any issue that way. If there's any other comments, if the other party comes on, I'd gladly answer.
Okay, I'm going to at this time ask the committee if they have any comments. Everything's been presented quite clearly by everybody. Anybody?
So we have Dale.
Yeah, so
My comment is, Nick, you said that there's really no changes. Well, there is a change. We're going from a single-family dwelling to a 2-family dwelling. A single-family dwelling there now has 2 cars. So 2-family dwelling is going to have 3, maybe 4 cars. So there is a change. And I do like your interesting design of the floor plan, because when I looked at the sketch that was there, in the basement you've got a bedroom that's 13 by 11, then you've got a storage room that's 10 by 12, and you've got a possible den 15 by 11. So even if you leave the den alone, the storage room could be another bedroom, but not labeled as that. Also, on the first floor, you've got 2 bedrooms, 12 by 9, 13 by 9, and 2 storage rooms, 12 by 9, 12 by 7. I know that when the planning looks at it, they're going by what you labeled it, but I kind of see through the trees here, and I'm seeing quite a few more bedrooms than what's labeled, but that's okay. That's not in front of us really today, but the parking issue is a concern to me. That's a big change to what's been there.
Can I respond to that right now? Hello? Can I respond to that right now, or do you want me to wait for the next committee member?
Mark, we did have Thomas who wished to speak as well. So I'm not sure what you wanted to do.
Let everyone speak first, Nick. Go ahead, Tom.
Sure. No problem.
Is the building now owner occupied, or are there tenants in there?
As far as I know, there's tenants in it now.
So, tenanted as it is, you've got the driveway taken up with 2 vehicles. You create another unit. I agree with Dale. You're going to end up with some vehicles floating around looking for parking on a street that this gentleman says is already at maximum. So I too have some concerns.
Thank you, Thomas. Nick, your response.
Okay, Thomas, first of all, unfortunately, and that's what's prompted a lot of the start of this, there's already 2 tenants in this property. And then the conversion from us, and they're just trying to legalize an issue that was created ignorantly, or whatever you want to call it, by the previous owner, by the owner that has created this entire scenario. But the conversion of a single family to 2 family requires 2 spaces total, not any extra spaces. That's the requirement. That's the bylaw as it's written. The parking spaces on a single family are determined by the number of rooms. In our case, based on the number of rooms, we'd need 2 spaces. As a 2-family dwelling, 2 spaces are required by the bylaw, and there are those 2 spaces, and each tenant occupies 1 space in that building as it sits today. We're trying to finalize this conversion and legalize it so that it continues to stay a 2-family dwelling and fills the gap for affordable rental housing. And they see that the need, and unfortunately, like I said, it got created prior to it getting approved, and that's what we're here to have happen. To answer the questions about the storage rooms, as far as I know, and I mean, that's exactly the layout we've been given, but that back area used to be like I think it was some sort of a porch or something like that, so it's not really, it's there, but it's not 100% habitable space, but the upstairs is being used as some sort of a storage of garden stuff or whatever it is that they've got, and then the basement apartment would use the rooms the same way. They're not meant to be anything other than what you see them. Sure, I think I answered. I can't remember if I missed something else that I was asked of the committee member.
No, you covered it pretty good there, Nick. Anyone else before I ask for a motion? David?
I think we just got to look at whether or not those 2 spots right now are doable and workable, regardless of the amount of people in it. Even if they did conform right now, whether there's 2 people using cars and they did conform and the 2-family dwelling was allowed, there's still going to be 2 spots. So it doesn't matter if there's more people or not. The bylaw requires 2 spots. So the question is whether or not those 2 spots are workable and doable for the area.
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
I happened to be there last week, and I saw a 350 truck, which is a pretty big truck, and a mid-sized car parked side by side. They seem to fit very nicely in that driveway. So I understand they're narrower than normal, but like I said, it's not a public parking lot where you worry a lot about banging doors and so on and so forth. I mean, they seem to be parked there fine, and I didn't see any issue. I know that it's a little bit narrower than what is required by the bylaw, but it's not saying it's not doable. And there's a large vehicle there in one of the spaces. I mean, not up until recently, our minimum standard for parking lots and commercial lots was only 2.55 meters. So, that's less than 4 inches bigger than what we have right now. So I don't think it's a major issue. And like I said, it seems to be working well. And like I said, we started to say before, I mean, there's a need for rental places, and this seems to fill a need that's already been filled, and it'd be nice to be able to keep it as it is without any further disruption. It seems to work. I don't think it's actually creating an issue that everybody or the neighbor seems to say it is.
Well spoken, Nick. Anybody?
So we had Margaret and Nancy who wished to speak.
Yes, I have a question for staff. Staff do not support variance number 1, which seems to be a very minor reduction in the size of the lot required. And the comments seem to relate to the width of the driveway, or whether the driveways themselves would be able to accommodate the 2 vehicles. So is that the only reason why staff are not supportive of number 1?
Yes. So through the chair to the committee member, we review lot area for Section 19 conversions based on whether they can provide the kind of the needs of the tenants, and that includes parking. And so since we aren't supportive of the size of the parking spaces, staff feels that the site is not large enough to accommodate the needs of the tenants. And that's why we weren't supportive of that variance in connection with the other variances that we weren't supportive of.
Got it. Nancy?
Yes, just a comment regarding building division item number 4 regarding the height. The interested party mentioned something about the height. Nick, are you able to verify the height of that basement unit? Come in, Nicholas.
Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah, you can speak now, Nick.
Okay, sorry. I did go in, and I didn't go into the garage at that time, but I did go in and measure, and there was I think it was just over 7 feet as a height in the basement. I assumed the garage would be the same thing, and it would meet the different the height requirement. Like I said, if it isn't, then it's a room that has to be eliminated as part of the living space, which could easily happen and still be a 1-bedroom apartment. But it didn't seem like to be an issue when I went there. That the space is adequate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Motion, anybody? David?
David?
Just to say that we've approved these tandem parking before, and this is for situation parking. I feel confident that it's going to be I'm looking for approval.
Okay, you're bringing a motion for approval. Is there a seconder for David's motion?
I see no seconders. Sorry, Mark, okay, sorry, we weren't able to hear you.
Okay, that motion fails if there's not a seconder. Is there another motion from someone else?
So we have Dale.
Motion to deny.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
We have Vern.
All in favor of motion to deny? Opposed to the motion to deny?
We have David.
Okay. Not unanimous, but majority application is denied. Hearing is
Okay, I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
All right, so we are hearing HMA 2140 for 102 and 104 Wellington Street North in Hamilton. And we have the agent, Ken Beckendam, registered to speak. And we have the owner registered to speak as well.
Okay, so what's the owner's name? It's not Need Nest, I imagine.
So I believe Ken is here. I'm not sure that the owner is. And sorry, Ken, I'm just.
Yeah, I don't see the owner on here.
Okay, well, hopefully we don't need them. We have your application. We have very favorable comments. No opposition. We got your request for amendment. Is there anything the committee wishes to ask?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, Margaret.
The request for the amendment talks about the balcony. So to allow a balcony and exterior stairs. But when I was reading staff comments, it seemed to me that the balcony was being removed. Is that correct?
Well, so what on the previous version of our exterior fire escape, we had a bit of a larger balcony that staff were concerned about it being used for amenity area, and there was privacy concerns associated with that. And so what we did is we revised the deck balcony basically to the minimum width that would be required for a for the fire escape. So it's really just a walkway to access our stairs, get down to the ground level. The dimensions that are being applied for is basically our minimum requirements to meet code. So there's really no space to put chairs or anything even up there anymore. So
does that change the variance, or is the variance as it stands correct?
Maybe staff can speak to that.
So through the chair to the committee member, the variance was altered slightly because of the reduction in the size of the balcony, and staff are satisfied that since it won't be used for amenity area, that we're okay with it.
Okay, so you're asking for us to approve the variances as written, correct, Ken?
Yes, please.
Okay, does the committee have a motion or any further questions?
Motion for approval.
Okay, seconded Bob, all in favor? Opposed? None? Application approved, hearing adjourned.
Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. And I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're hearing HMA 2195 for 333 East Avenue North in Hamilton. And we have the agent, Ken, registered. And I believe we have the owner registered as well.
Okay, so you're back on this one. Ken, did you read the comments from the municipality?
Yes, I did. Yep. And I'm satisfied.
Staff saying that it can't put the damper on the morale of the neighborhood.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
There was a letter sent by the owners of 326 East Ave saying that conversion to two families tend to not be well maintained and put a damper on the morale of the neighborhood. Just letting you know that that's there if you didn't see it.
Yes, I did have a chance to read the letter, and I will inform the client to to address that with this individual. I know my client is they're a great owner, and they do take very well of their properties. This particular property is in disrepair at the moment and does need a full renovation, which will really clean up the property. So I'm sure that will satisfy the neighbor.
Yeah. Drawings look good. Anyone from the committee, any questions? Motion, anybody? Dale? Approval, seconded?
Seconded, Nancy.
All in favor? Opposed? Apparently none. Application approved. It's your lucky day today, Ken.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right.
He's on for the next one too. So let's see. Yeah, I'm good for time. So we'll call HMA 2196 for 129 Sherman Avenue North in Hamilton. And we have the owner registered to speak, or sorry, the agent registered to speak, and the owner is not registered.
Okay, again, there doesn't appear to be negative comments. Committee, any questions? Motion from Dale
No,
for approval.
I have a question.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay, why is there a wet bar in the attic?
So, so our clientele likes to, when they're renovating these properties, they do like to provide as much amenity, entertaining spaces as possible for the tenants. You know, they do target a kind of young millennial tenant profile, which they do like their wet bars and spaces for entertaining and beverages and that type of stuff. If it does become an issue with the building department, that can be addressed through the permit submission.
It just appears to me that the way it's laid out, it could make itself turn into a third unit, which I would hate to see.
The client is well aware that it's only proposed to be a 2-family dwelling. And they are prepared to, sign the 2-family declaration form, which would be, requested by building staff. And he is aware that if he does contravene that, he could be subject to fines or in order to comply.
Fair enough. I like the wet bar. David, motion for approval. Seconder.
Nancy.
All in favor? Opposed? Anybody? Approved. Hearing adjourned.
I guess that's a hat trick for Ken.
We like wet bars.
In the attic?
I'm hiring this guy whenever I convert my place.
I will see you next month. I'll have 3 more coming next month.
Make nice and clean.
All right.
No bars. No wet bars. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
It is pretty common these days. They've come from the old rec room style bars to the attic bars.
Hey, people are going to work and party at home with all of this stuff going on, so you might as well make it half reasonable.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm all set for the next one whenever you guys are.
77 Thomas Lofchuk Street.
Yep, I believe so. So we're hearing HMA 2187.
I am just on a boulevard.
And we have the agent registered to speak, Chris Hopkins. Let me just grab.
Get him online.
Might be a she.
Okay, I thought I saw them. Now I don't.
Move it.
Okay, so I don't see them, but I do have David wishing to speak.
Go ahead, David.
I don't think there's any objectors here. I move for approval.
Second. Bob, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay. All right. So I'm all set for the next one. And you are Mr. Chair.
Okay, we're moving into the high rent district here. You can call it.
Pardon? Okay. Okay, so we have HMB 2058 for 133 and 135 Markland Street in Hamilton. And we had the owner registered, and I'm just seeing if I can see them. So no, and I do not see the owner for this property either.
Hello? Can you hear me? Here I
Hi,
am.
are you Lisa?
I am.
Okay, so you aren't registered correctly. So that's why we couldn't see you. Okay.
Okay, so we have the applicant here, quite a long application. They got the zoning verification. Does the committee have any questions?
Just a question about the easement.
Yeah.
I understand an easement has to be registered so that there's access to the rear of one unit over the other unit. Is that something that happens after the approval, or is it something?
Yeah,
that
you
could,
do that after you get the approval, then you register on title.
Okay, cool. All right.
Never before.
I wondered if it was conditional upon, that's all.
Yeah.
There is a condition.
Yeah, this is a condition, but it's done in conjunction with the application.
Okay. I know the property and I know that that's the way it's been, so it's an existing that I guess somehow got merged or something along the way.
It predates 1950, which
yeah,
there's only maybe one or two of us here. Okay, motion, anybody?
Move it.
We have Nancy and Dale.
Yep, all in favor? Opposed? None? Application approved.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and we were scheduled for a break now. Do we want to take 5 minutes?
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Everybody's okay? All right. Yeah. Okay, so we are hearing HMA 1994 for 205 West 32nd Street in Hamilton. And we have the agent, Christine Brown, registered to speak.
Are you there, Christine?
I am here.
Where are you? I don't see you. There you are. Hi. Okay, you've obviously read the comments.
Yep.
And you may have seen the letter from Valerie Koitoko. And they're saying that they're not happy with it. Is there anything you wish to say?
Nothing that I haven't already said before with our last submission. I'm just looking for their comments again. They were concerned about the neighborhood and the running of a business, which I'm not really sure why they were bringing that up. The owner of this house is a contractor, so he does have a contractor van, but he doesn't work out of his house. And then he built a large garage in his backyard, but I don't really understand what the foyer has to do with the business.
Okay, anyone from the committee? Concerns, comments, motions, anything?
So we had David with a question.
Yeah, just a question. Is there an address for the objector at all? Or just, I didn't see an address for this objector. I just want to know if they're immediately impacted by this or if they're just, down the street. Probably not. I don't have an address. So if that's the case, I'll make a motion for approval.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Seconding.
And we have Vern seconding, I believe, correct?
Okay,
Sorry.
all in favor? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Application approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are hearing HMA 2177 for 11 Fisher Crescent, and I have the owner, Susan Betancourt, registered to speak.
Okay.
And go.
Good afternoon. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. Doesn't appear to be any interested parties concerned. Staff comments seem to be okay. Committee, have any questions?
So we have Nancy.
Just move for approval.
Okay. Seconder, Dale? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Kingdom.
Can I just make a comment for a second?
Sure.
You know, this is being approved with one parking spot only. And previous applications kind of had 2 spots. I just didn't know the inconsistency of the, I'm going to say the departments to say what they support, what they don't support. I don't quite grasp it. I'd rather have, 1 3/4 spots or whatever than just one. Just making a note of that. I didn't know there's no consistency here. That's all. I rest.
Thank you, David.
There is a comment, David, from building saying the applicant requested a variance to permit no on-site maneuvering. However, the variance is not required as maneuvering off-site for 1 parking space is available. So they justified it. That's all I'm reading here.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move
Thanks.
on.
Okay, so our next file is ANA 2185 for 33 Enmore Avenue in Ancaster. And we have the owner, Ian Young, registered to speak.
Ian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I have the comments from the staff in front of me, which appears to be favorable. I do not see or hear of any objections or parties complaining. Does the committee have any questions?
Move it.
So we had Byrne and Dale.
Yeah. All in favor? Opposed? Ian, you're approved.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, and I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we are hearing ANA 2190 for 156 Bookjans Drive in Ancaster. And we have the owner registered to speak.
Which owner, S or M?
S, Stephen.
Stephen? Okay. I'm having trouble with the lack of vowels to start with. Sorry, I'm from the same part of the world, buddy. Okay.
No worries.
Comments seem favorable. Does the committee have any questions, concerns, anything?
Move it.
Move it. Nancy. Seconder?
Mel?
Yep, or Bob. All in favor? Opposed? None? Application approved. Hearing adjourned.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Look, James. Glad we didn't take a break. We got like 4 done in the break time.
Okay, and I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, we're at 256, and that's 255, so we're right on.
We're good. All right, so we are hearing ANA 2155 for 148 John Frederick Drive. And we have the owner registered to speak, and yep, that's it.
Okay. Are you here, Nick?
Hey, how's it going? I have a link to a presentation here. I sent PDF, so hopefully everyone can see it.
So you can share your screen. I can set it up and you can share your screen.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
Before you start, you probably read the comments that there's some negative comments and the staff doesn't support everything and they don't support that this be approved. So I'm anticipating you're going to try to speak to persuade us otherwise, correct?
Correct.
Okay, go for it.
So I will share my screen right now. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, there's no need to introduce the project. I want to put a pool on the project or the lot there, and half the pool is in the front yard space. So that's the project there. I just highlighted the areas. The existing fence, I'm connecting a wooden fence right to that end. This is the boulevard that's here, and there's sidewalk, right? So I will skip right ahead. Here's the retaining wall that I designed. It was Teco Block approved. This is sort of the drawing I added as a grade overlay study. So I'm not bringing in any soil here whatsoever. I'm just balancing it out. So that's all that image is about. Okay, so here we are at the comment section. So what I took from it is I'm getting basically two comments that are sort of negative. The first one is about streetscape and desirability. Okay, so I'm of the opinion that I'm actually increasing the desirability of the streetscape. Okay, I'm adding a wooden fence to delineate and enclose the private property. Obviously, privacy is a huge concern to me and my wife. The pool will not be seen from the street. Okay, so if that's the concern, it shouldn't be. It's going to be hidden from view, and that's our priority. I'm including softscape features such as shrubs, trees, flower gardens along the perimeter of the fence. I want to note that I do maintain that public space in behind my property. I cut the grass. I've even planted trees. Okay, so I am one for streetscape. I care about the environment. I'm a big promoter on it, and I'm not going to put something there that's going to look out of place or ugly, if you will. Okay. So again, with the chain link fence, how you can see through it, that's going to be blocked off with emerald cedars. That's what I propose to put all along that fence. The shed, I got rid of it from the scope. Okay, because there was issues with the streetscape with that, and being too tight in that corner. So that's gone. All right. And there's some precedent cases towards the end of this presentation. It's not a very long presentation, so if you can bear with me. So here's the existing photos. As you can see, I take care of my property. I'm a stickler like that. Okay, this is the aesthetic that I want to sort of copy along the fence there. All right, nice landscaping. Okay, this seemed to come up. I saw in a comment, driveway visibility triangle. So I just took it straight out of the bylaw, 10-142, and it states, means it's a triangle formed by, it's cut off here. So it's basically a 2.7 meter triangle, okay? And I'll show you in the diagram here to explain it. So the issue was that I don't have 2.7 meters from this very corner. So as you can see, I actually have 25 feet in this direction, 24 feet in this direction. I have more than enough space from my driveway backing out to be able to see oncoming traffic. I don't know why that comment was in there. Even for the sidewalk itself, I have 3.35 meters from my property line. So this is all grass in here. I'm not putting a fence on the city property. It's strictly going to be on mine. And you'll see in the precedents that I've provided towards the end, similar cases in my neighborhood. Okay, so again, here's a picture of exactly what I want to do with the fence. Okay, just joining it up. That's all I'm doing. All right, and this brings me to the other comment, and I sort of grouped them together. It was about natural heritage. right? So there's a concern that the pool enclosure fence or excavation for the swimming pool and surrounding patio may impact the roots of vegetation growing along the stream, which could lead to sediment or erosion issues. Okay, this I totally do not understand. It's one to consider X and Y distance, right? The setback, but there's a huge elevation difference. Okay, there's over 6 feet from the pool level to the ravine. Also, the developer in 2017, my land is all engineered fill, so that original ground is 6 feet under the top of my grade. There's nothing growing on my side yard. There's no roots. And the nearest tree to me is 40 feet away from the swimming pool. I guarantee you I am not touching any roots or shrubs or whatever, right? It's just grass right now. Okay, and as part of the HSCA agreement, I have the permit. I am putting up erosion control measures during construction, and that's a silt fence, right? No different. Like I've worked in construction as a field engineer. I've had to put up silt fence for culverts that I've put on. Halderbrook Road was one job I did. We worked in a hazard area. I've sectioned it off with heavy duty silt fence. Wasn't an issue. Okay, and I'm gonna do my due diligence, right? I'm monitoring construction. I'm gonna be there. All right, so I believe me, I won't let anything happen. No erosions or leaks are going into that creek. Okay, so here's a copy of the permit that I received from HCA. There's the silt fence that I'm going to put up during construction. Okay, and there's a good shot that you can see. My pool is over here. I chose the flat area on purpose. It's further, originally I was going to put the pool along this edge, which was actually closer to the ravine. I'm putting it up here. Okay, the ravine is down in here. There's a grade difference. We can't just look at the setback. And even the setback, right? There's a barrier of grass. And this is all fill. Like I said, this was all fill that Losani, the developer here, had put and compacted. So there's an aerial. Okay, here you can see a bit of the grade difference. Okay, similar cases in my neighborhood. There's one right around the corner, 411 Annalee Drive. Okay, just the fence, right? With the streetscape, I'm doing nothing different. Nothing different. Here's a better example on 261 Harmony. This is another 2-minute walk from my house. They put a pool in what I consider is the front yard space. The front of the house is here, driveway. There's a fence that goes up to here, cuts across. I'm doing nothing different. I'm landscaping it. And then property tax, right? Like I'm paying a premium for this land. So this is where I'm having issues with, right? There's a single detached right across the street from me, same square footage. He's paying less tax than me. So what I'm getting at is I'm paying a premium for this lot. I want to be able to use it.
Okay, Nick.
Those are my main points.
Okay, if you don't mind me saying, in all the decades I've been on this committee, that was one of the nicest, concise presentations I've seen. My question firstly is, have you spoken to your neighbors or had any concern with any of your neighbors?
I've had no concerns.
Okay, and they were notified. Does the committee have any questions? It's pretty thorough. Anybody? Anyone want to make a motion?
I had Dale with a hand raised and Bob with a hand raised.
Go ahead.
Just a statement, I guess. I drove by the site this morning, and this pool would be completely in the front yard of this house, and I just don't like the layout of it, and so I can't support it.
Okay. Bob, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm prepared to move approval. I think the explanation was really good, and I really don't see it as being a problem, so I'm prepared to move it.
Okay, and then we had Thomas and David as well.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I've driven by the property a couple of times now. It's been up a couple of times. There's a reason why the bylaws don't allow pools in front yards. And exemplified perhaps by one of the photographs you see where you can, it's by the wire fence. It's just a straight shot right along the street. You can see the whole length of the street, and that's the nature of the neighborhood. This is going to change that. And I mean, what seems beautiful to some people is ugly to others, and that fence doesn't impress me at all. And it just changes the landscape there. It's unfortunate. Some properties are just not suitable for pools, and unfortunately, this is one of them, in my view.
Hey, Thomas, my comment on that is, what is stopping me from putting a fence there, even if I don't put a pool? Like that.
What is stopping you? What is stopping you probably is that you wouldn't do it because it's ugly.
But that's an opinion. But Thomas,
Okay.
that's an opinion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So we had David who wished to speak as well.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I think Thomas does have a point, but I think the fact that under the street, I don't think there's an impact of it at the end of the street. He's in an awkward area in the first place, and for me to look at that, it's actually pretty good that it can fill that awkward area. So I second the motion of Bob to approve.
Okay, so there's been some comments, but there's a motion on the floor from Bob, seconded by David for approval. All in favor of the motion for approval? I can't see everyone.
So we have Nancy, Bob, and David
Are in favor of the motion.
are in favor of the motion.
And who's opposed?
Opposed? Okay, so we have Margaret, Thomas, Laverne, Mel, and Dale.
So that obviously motion is not ratified. So that motion fails. Can you bring another motion then, please?
Motion to deny.
Good. Seconder.
We have Thomas.
All in favor? And then opposed, the three that were in the other one. A split decision, application. If it fails, hearing is adjourned. Application denied. Sorry. Okay, you'll get a letter in the mail as to what can be done if you wish to appeal it, and hearing's adjourned. Hi, James. Okay, Darrell Park.
Sorry, just one minute, Mr. Chairman. We're just clarifying for records.
Yeah, I can't get the video to work.
Okay, I am all set whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we are hearing GLB 2060 for 110 Arrow Park Boulevard in Glenbrook. And we have the agent, James Webb, registered to speak. And I believe that's it. Yeah. And the
How long
owner.
do you leave, James?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much for hearing this application today. We've had a chance to review the report and the very slim number of conditions, which fine by us. We note that the current boundary is based on somewhat of a conceptual layout, but the condition requires that we present to the Committee of Adjustment an actual deposited reference plan, which is absolutely fine because that will allow us to provide the finite boundary because things are slightly in flux for this tenant who is going to be occupying the site. So with that, Mr. Chairman, we're in full support and would appreciate the support of the committee.
Okay, anybody?
Move it.
We have Nancy and Vern. Seconded.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
You oppose it, you don't get your Christmas presents.
We were getting a Christmas present?
Well, everything comes through Amazon, doesn't it?
Same as last year, right?
Yeah.
It'll be better. Thank you all very much.
Okay, fine.
Okay. All right, so I'm all set for the next one when you are, Mr. Chairman.
Cabernet Court for 7
That's
Years
right.
Drive.
Yeah. So we are hearing SCA 2198 for 4, 8, 12, and 16, Savanille Crescent in Stony Creek. And we have Spencer McKay registered to speak on behalf of the owners.
Okay, where's everyone juiced?
Good afternoon, committee. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. My name is Spencer McKay. I'm here on behalf of Urban Core Developments. Sergio Mancia, one of the owners of the property, is also in the room with me here. We understand the staff report in front of you recommends tabling the application. If I could just share my screen quickly, I'd just like to kind of paint the picture of what we're trying to do on this property. Also, technology.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And Mr. Chairman, sorry, I did forget to mention that the counselor for the area is also registered to speak.
Thank you.
And I will, sorry, Spencer, just a
Set
minute.
up the screen and the counselor can speak if he wishes. I can't see anyone. Here you are. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Counselor Pearson, we're not able to hear you.
My apologies. There's too many buttons that you have to push.
There are quite a few.
Make sure Spencer gets his video or his presentation up. I have discussed this with Spencer earlier today and with Sergio last night. I have no issue with this going forward. I understand staff's concerns, but the concern are with regards to two of the 4 lots that have not been purchased yet. And once they're purchased, if they require further variances, then they would be applied for. So I'll let Spencer give his overview so you understand it, but I'm in support of the request being made by the applicant today. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Councillor. As you see before you, it's the part lot control reference plan. There's 10 parts on this plan, of which we're creating 7 lots for single detached dwellings. This application was submitted July 22nd of this year. Zoning staff reviewed this, determined that there was some inconsistencies with parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 with regards to the lot area. So before you today, you have a variance for interior lots for lot area, as well as for the corner lot, which is circled as part 1. And then on the second plan I'm about to pull up, this is one of the lots that has been sold that has one of our standard models on it. You can see here, I've highlighted the variances. We're requesting a 0.8 meter setback. You can see on both sides of the house, we have 0.9 here and we have a pinch point of 0.8 here. Another variance that's requested is a 6 meter rear yard as you can see here, we're giving a 6-meter rear yard on half of the property and then a full almost 8 meters on the other half. Again, another circle down here, which would be the lot coverage increasing from 40 to 44%, and therefore we've requested 45% in our variance request. The variances that we submitted for were submitted for all 4 lots. Understandably so, we've only submitted a site plan for one of the lots because the other lots haven't been sold and the model for those individual lots have not been chosen. If for some reason the purchaser decides to come and choose a different model that does not conform to the bylaw that we're requesting, we'll bring that back before you for your approval. Yeah, the chances are for the other 3 lots that are in the part law control application, they're going to be the same model. With that said, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, anybody?
Sure. Presentation made it a little clearer for me, and with that in mind, I would be prepared to support it.
Okay, seconder, Bob, all in favor? Opposed?
Seeing none.
Application approved, hearing adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
I'm ready.
All right, so we are hearing HMA 2192 for 612 Upper James Street in Hamilton, and we have the agent registered to speak. Let's see, Kelsey, as well as the owner and 2 interested parties.
Okay, so who will be doing the speaking, the applicant or the owner?
The applicant.
Okay, and there are 2 interested parties. Could I get your names and address if you wish to speak?
Okay, so we have Lawrence Cohen.
Lawyer?
Uh-oh.
I don't see Lawrence. And the other, oh, there he is. That's the lawyer.
I am.
And the other speaker is.
Sorry, Mr. Cohen, I believe your speaker is causing some issues.
Is this a dialect?
Everyone help me. The sound is like this.
Yeah, so your speaker and your microphone are too close together.
I can't understand anything.
Okay, so Mr. Cohen, your speaker and your microphone are too close together. So you have to either move them apart, or you need to mute your microphone and call in with the number provided in the link. And Mr. Chairman, the other interested party is Meyer Patel.
Okay, maybe we can speak to Mr. Patel first. Go ahead. Mr. Patel?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, what's your concern, sir?
My concern is that I'm the adjacent property owner represented, and the problem is that virtually none of the parking spaces proposed to be provided comply with the bylaw. The number of spaces is less than required. The use that they're making of the property is a medical center, and medical centers traditionally use much more than normal parking. I noticed the comments by the zoning department, and I concur with those comments. They represent that there are 6 parking spaces, but the legal number of parking spaces is probably closer to 2 or 3, taking into account the various variances that they request. Have you heard
Is this
me?
the old Cafe Palazzo by any chance?
Say that again, please.
Is this the Cafe Palazzo building?
It was the, yes, that was the Cafe Palazzo building. Before that, it was the Masons. Since then, it's been an illegal cannabis store that was shut down. And we've had huge problems with parking on our property adjacent to the subject property. And I'm afraid that the medical center will exacerbate that problem even further.
Okay. Well, my first thought is, having gone to Cafe Palazzo ages ago quite often, I would think that would take more parking space requirements than a medical building, especially since they were open at night. That's just my immediate thought. Is Mr. Cohen available yet?
Mr. Cohen, were you able to fix your issue?
Can you hear me now?
No, sorry, we're not able to hear you. Do you see the chat function in the bottom? If you, I know it's not ideal. If you're not able to call in, if you can use the chat function and send a message to me, and I can relay it to the committee members.
The chat, all I see is unmute.
I know it's not ideal. If you're not,
I can call in. What number do you want me to call in?
okay, I'll send it to your email address.
Okay, let's have the applicants speak right now.
Yeah. So the medical office is going to be a dentist office, and we're not looking to change anything. We're just hoping to use the existing parking spaces as is, and that's it. So we're not doing any grading, we're not changing any landscaping. We just want to use what's there available already.
Okay. Does the committee want to talk while we're waiting for Mr. Cohen to show up? I mean, the building's there. There was a pretty successful restaurant at one time. There's going to be something there. It's certainly better than a illegal marijuana place, and restaurants are open later and so I'm trying to figure out what the concern is.
Well, my one thought is for a medical office not to have a handicap parking spot. It's kind of ridiculous.
It still is ridiculous.
Yeah, we're just hoping to use what's there and what's available now.
But there isn't a handicap parking spot there now.
Technically, no, there's not.
No. And frankly, none of the spaces are legal. If you look at the variances requested, they're too small, they're on the wrong angle. As a matter of practice, they're not going to be used, and they're going to use the property to the south, which is what's happened in the past. Now, in the case of the restaurant, the use of the property to the south for parking was okay because most of them were in the evening and it didn't affect us. but the medical office will be used during the day, and that does have a serious effect. Now, right now, the parking lot is empty because of the pandemic, and some of the uses can't be made. But when regular returns, the parking lot will be used, and we don't have enough parking to supply the medical building.
Any overflow parking there, just to the north of that, there is a municipal parking lot just across the street.
That nobody wants to pay to use.
It is available for them to be used, though.
There's a street just north of that. Is it Martha Street or something? But what's the state of parking there?
Genesee Street, there is a little bit of street parking there, and just to the north of that, there is a municipal parking lot there.
On the same side?
On the north side.
Well, what the dentists do in my building is they give out vouchers for the people to park when they pay for parking. I'm in Effort Square, and it's full of dentist office, and they all get their parking paid for as part of their thing. They bring it up and get it stamped. That's possibly part of some resolution to that issue, but
it could be, yeah.
Something has to go there. And
may I say that the objection to the municipality was not the use of the property, and I don't object to the use of the property as medical. What I object to is that you're using 1,500 square feet, which is room for a whole medical clinic with perhaps 100 patients a day coming through. If the size of the medical building, of medical use rather, were restricted to what the bylaw allows, they'd be able to use about 500 or 600 square feet for one doctor. I have no objection to that. My objection is to the amplification of the use and the tremendous load of parking that'll require for a medical clinic. And the application is not for a medical office, but a medical clinic. And you'll notice the comments from the municipality support the position I'm taking.
There's, in the proposed office, there's 5 examination rooms right now, so it's not going to be a huge number of people going back and forth because there's only a limited number of rooms. So, I mean, the bylaw states that with regards to the size of the office, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's how many people are going to go through.
How many examining rooms are in the space?
5.
You're the designer, I take it?
Yes.
How many examining rooms do you have?
There's 5 examiner rooms.
Wonderful. So that means there's going to be 3 doctors there? You don't need 5 examining rooms for one doctor, that's for sure. This is a medical clinic. This is going to be a walk-in clinic.
It's a dentist office.
That's why there's 5 examining rooms.
Yeah, so it's not a walk-in clinic, it's a dentist office.
Oh, dentist? Sorry. I haven't been able to find the dentist registered as a dentist, but that's beside the point. So anyway, I think it's an overutilization for offices.
okay, Mr. Patel, I think your point's crystal clear. Have we got a hold of Larry Cohen yet?
So I've given him, we've emailed him the number, and we've, okay.
Can anyone hear me?
So, Mr. Okay.
It's a dentist.
Okay, just 1 minute, please. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Mr. Cohen is registered on 2 lines. I'm going to see if removing him from one helps. So remove him from the right one. Okay, let's see if that helps. Okay, Mr. Cohen, let's see if this helps. Are you able to speak now?
Okay. I can hear you clearly.
Techie, aren't you?
Yeah. I can speak, but I can't see. All we've got is the hearing symbol up there, JS, and a October 22nd, 2020 hearing sign.
Yeah, so you're signed
He
in
couldn't hear
twice.
My lawyer.
Oh, well, should I go on start video? I don't know. Hold on, let me see what happens.
No, Mr. Cohen, no. So if you can just speak, we can hear you and we can see you.
Okay. I'm the solicitor for Mr. Meyer Battelle, who was just speaking earlier. The application that we received from the committee indicated that it was going to be a medical office, not a dental office. We don't know how many dentists will be in that office, but my client's main concern is that he owns the properties that surround this property that's part of this, that's the subject matter of this application. Immediately to the west, there's a house. I think it's Jenna Street. I don't remember the name of the street, but whatever the side street is there, there's a house that borders right on the back parking lot. And he owns the property immediately to the south on Upper James Street, which consists of a large commercial building with a large parking lot. And that parking lot and the parking lot beside the property at 612 Upper James are side by side. They're divided by, I don't know, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, it's divided by, I took pictures yesterday, but I can't show you the pictures, unfortunately. It's just by a very, some blocks of cement on the ground, but they're actually side by side. And in the past, overflow clients to 612 would be parking on my client's property, which is needed by his tenants, the commercial tenants there. So we were concerned that the application wanted to reduce the number of parking spots for a medical application, and not only reduce them, but make them smaller than what the bylaw requires. Now, if it was going to be a medical application, which we thought it was going to be, the patients would be coming to a medical clinic. Some of them would have crutches, some would have a walker, some would have the scooters, and they need more space to park than a normal car. So we were objecting to the fact that the applicant wanted to reduce the parking spots that are there. We don't know how many dentists are going to be there. If there's only going to be one dentist, he can only see one patient every so often, so that may not be too bad. But if it's going to be multiple dentists, it could be a problem. So that's our position in regards to this application.
I'd just like to say that we're not looking to reduce the number of spots there already.
Hello? No, am I out of it? Am I muted?
You're there.
I'm still here?
You're still there.
Okay, I'll watch my language. Again, even in a dentist's office, I'm sure that some patients there will be coming with walkers and with scooters. I respectfully submit that the parking spaces should be the minimum what the bylaw requires and should be no smaller than what the bylaw requires. And for these people to be able to get in and out of their own vehicles if they have crutches, walkers, or scooters. That's our position.
I'd like to say too that this building is not a barrier-free building. The way that it's situated, there is a step up. So anybody with that big of parking needs might not be able to go to this building anyways. Just the nature of it's an older building, and that's kind of just the way that it is right now. So, and like I said, there is a municipal across the street to the north. We're just hoping to use what's there now, not looking to change anything, just hoping to use what's there.
Okay, and we have Nancy who would like to speak.
How many dentists are going to be occupying the building?
Sorry, Mr. Cohen, Nancy, one of our committee members, would like to speak.
All right, excuse me.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I do work in a building myself that has multiple businesses, and I'm sure the leases in those buildings are assigned a certain number of parking spots. They encroach on us, we encroach on them. That's just the nature of the way it is when you're trying to park your vehicle. Bylaw is the avenue that one needs to take if people are mishandling, abusing, or borrowing parking spots from another building. So I guess my concern isn't so much that they may be using spots that don't belong to the building, because people will do that out of sheer self, whatever it is anyway. But there's also the shopping mall around the corner where people will walk and park if they have to. Besides that, I guess my biggest question and concern is, of the spots that are there, I haven't yet heard how many spots there are.
There are 6 or 7 spots, I believe, and the bylaw would require 9. So
right, okay.
It's just a couple.
So the variance is truly just for 2 spots. If I'm not okay. Okay.
Excuse me, may I
Okay.
say something?
Go
May I
ahead.
speak? It is, first of all, there are only 6, not 7. Second of all, out of the 6 spaces, only 2 or perhaps 3 are legal spaces that comply. The balance don't. They're too short or they're too great an angle. The result is that they won't be used, which is what's happened in the past. There are no 6 legal spaces. If you look at the application, there are multiple variance requests. The requests are for angles. The requests are different angles than required. The requests are for shorter spaces, 5 point something instead of 6.7 meters per space. They are not regular parking spaces. There are only perhaps 2 to 3 legal spaces out of the 6 that we're talking about.
Okay, and we had Laverne who wishes to speak.
Yes, we've heard several comments about the dental clinic and the parking around the dental clinic. But in my notes here, it says there's 2 apartment dwellings on the 2nd floor. Where are these people supposed to park?
I don't know if it's acceptable for them to just not be allocated parking spots, but the main concern was for the medical clinic or the dentist office. There wasn't any concern from the plans examiners that I talked to about having a parking spot for the apartments above.
Well, my feeling is this can also complicate parking. So I think it's a secondary problem to the original one.
Anyone else?
Sorry.
David?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. 2 questions actually. How many dentists are going to be there, and how many staff are going to be there?
I'm not sure of the number of dentists that are going to be there at one time. There'd be 1, maybe 2 dentists, and then a couple admin people. So it's not
hygienists and staff. So there could be 5, correct?
Could be 5. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure though.
There are 5 operating rooms.
Right. I'm just looking at staff parking and dentist parking for themselves. And I'm also reaching out to the, I guess there was no contact made to yourself, the objector, in terms of them. You got quite a big, I'm looking at it right now, quite a big lot there to lease some spaces off of you, obviously. That's not been discussed.
We only have enough spaces for the tenants that we have. We are just in compliance with the bylaw. We do not have extra spaces.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Can we restrict the discussion now to just the committee? I don't think it's appropriate for us to be debating with everybody on this.
Okay. We've got the clear comments from the applicant, the objector and the objector's solicitor exactly what the concern is. So at this point, I agree with Bob. We should just be hearing what the committee has to say, and then we can determine whether we make a decision or defer or go from there. Anyone else on the committee wishes to speak?
We have Margaret.
It seems to me that there are so many concerns about the parking that we could make a decision today, but maybe they should table it and go back and talk about the parking and what they can do to make it better. Just a thought about tabling, or we could go ahead and make a decision.
Okay, so for the applicant, you can probably hear the way this is going in some direction. If we're asked to make a decision now, I will ask for a motion and then the chips fall. Unless you feel that it might be beneficial to table it, perhaps have discussions with Mr. Battelle or his solicitor or anyone else about other things, maybe clarify who's going to be there, how many, maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll be worse, who knows, and then we can bring a decision on another day. What is your inclination?
I would like to get this wrapped up as soon as possible. So if we could make a decision today, that would be ideal. Can I just say super quick that the only reason that we're hoping to use the existing parking spots up there is because there isn't room on the lot itself to put in new parking spots that would adhere to the current bylaws. Otherwise, we would be doing that. So we're hoping to have these like grandfathered in, so to speak, because there literally isn't room on this lot for what is being asked.
Fair enough. Okay, any other questions from the committee, or I'll take a motion?
Just one for me. I haven't heard from staff on this. I think it's pretty clear staff's position, but if you could just add your comments.
So through the chair to the committee member, staff is consistently not supportive of reductions in parking for medical clinics. There is a section in our zoning bylaw that specifies how off-site parking should be accommodated. So if they were going to look into options for an off-site parking agreement, then staff could consider that, and it would need to be in conformity with the zoning bylaw. But yeah, as per my comments, staff is not supportive of the size or number of the parking spaces. And since a new use is being established, we have to evaluate if the site is appropriate for that use. And so staff is of the opinion that we cannot support these variances for a medical clinic.
So just for clarification, medical clinic, dentist office falls under the same category?
Okay. That's correct. Under the zoning bylaw, a medical clinic is considered a dental office.
Okay.
There's a broad category.
Okay. Even though I know we've had it before on Main Street where it's on a bus route, and it wasn't. It was approved, I think, because it was on a bus route, and the tenants were accessible to other parking or non-parking. But yes, if it's under the same category, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Anyone else for a motion? Dale?
So I just want a statement, I guess, agree with what Dave was saying. You know, with 5 rooms, you could have 2 dentists, 2 assistants, and 1 receptionist. So there's 5, probably 5 vehicles. Even though the building supposedly isn't handicap accessible, there's still, I would think, a requirement to have at least 1 spot that's a handicap spot to park. There's a lot of people that seem to have those stickers that seem to get around okay. The step that's up into the building maybe is not the biggest issue, but this parking it's a huge problem, I think, and I can't support it.
Okay, anyone else, or I'll take a motion? Okay. We have a motion. Okay. Motion second.
Sorry, what is the motion? I see both Dale and David indicating, but
Motion to deny.
Okay. Again, seconded, David. All in favor? Opposed? You're opposed, Bob, to the motion for denial?
No. I'm just slow on the.
Okay. Application denied, hearing adjourned. Kelly?
okay, and I'm all set for the next one whenever you are, Mr. Chairman.
Good.
Sorry, did you say go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I think your microphone is muffled again. So we are hearing HMA 2194 for 684 Upper James Street in Hamilton. And we have the owner, Giuseppe DeSalvo, as well as the agent, Gino, registered to speak.
Giuseppe and Gino, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, Chairman and committee.
Okay, so we have pretty good comments. We don't have neighbors or objectors. Does the committee have any questions?
Move it.
We have a motion for approval.
So we had
Seconded,
Margaret
David.
and David. Okay.
Okay, anyone opposed?
Seeing none.
No opposition. Application approved. Hearing adjourned.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem.
Good day.
Okay. And I'm all set for the next one whenever you are.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're hearing HMA 2197 for 600 Upper Kenilworth Avenue in Hamilton. And we have the owners registered to speak, Alida and Dave.
Okay, no interested parties or objectors?
No.
Alida and Dave, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, comments seem to be favorable. I'm going to ask the committee if they have any questions, concerns, or ask for a motion. Anybody?
We have Nancy and Vern. Okay, Nancy motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Application approved. Hearing adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Deal with Sunny Ridge.
Okay, thank you.
Should we, let's table Sunnywood, or Sunny Ridge, in case you forgot. No, I didn't forget.
Okay. And Dale, if you want to just hold on, if you have that address for the property that you were asking me about, if you just give me 1 minute, I believe this ends the official portion of our hearing. So I'll just turn everything off. Sorry, David, you had something first?
Yeah, was there an update on our expense summaries at all? Or just keep on?
Yes, so I believe they have been submitted to finance. So then it's just up to finance how there are a lot of them, so it might take them a little bit to process. But
So do
yes,
you want-
we have submitted them.
On that note, I don't think I've done one since like March. So if you could remind me which ones I need to get done.
You did that already, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can CC Kim on that if that works.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
And do we want to, do we have to send a new one every month still?
I suppose, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. There's October and then November and December. So you could do November and December together if you wanted. Just because there's only one hearing in December.
Okay.
I think it'd be a great suggestion that if every member on the committee could hold back their taxes for 4
Yeah.
They're There was some leniency with taxes this year, I believe. I'm not sure what the exact time frame was, but there was, I believe. Okay, so just hold on.
Thomas, I've been thinking about putting up a fence, but I don't want to